interesting observation I've made on Saturday. I wanted to share this with you. It's an interesting kind of how do I perceive my energy levels to be and how are they really? It's inspired by something that I've been through that a little bit while I was on the cancer treatment, in which sometimes the body tells you that you're kind of weak and fatigued and you can't do this and that and the other, and in reality it is actually very possible to do that. I find that very fascinating, that sometimes we need to do this reality check of what is reality, what is the real state of something, rather than what does the brain tell you how things are. So case in point, over the last few weeks I was really feeling very energized, and in particular in regards to making 3D tutorials. It's just something, you know, it comes and goes. Sometimes I'm up for it and it's really easy for me, and other times it's not, or I'm interested in other things and I'm researching other projects, or my creative mind wants to do other stuff, and that's just, you know, the nature of creativity. I think sometimes you have a lot of euphoria for something and you're happy doing that, but other times you think, what's the point? And then, you know, my mind starts wandering off and does other things. So related to that, I have felt like I just, you know, don't want to do any DAS tutorials or any other 3D related stuff. I don't really want to look at the software, anything really. It's not so much just DAS Studio, it's literally anything, including Blender and Unreal, and literally anything that has to do with 3D. It's just not something I felt like doing, you know. It comes to a point where you've looked at enough grey interfaces with 40 billion options and you think, I don't really know what to do with it. So that kind of turned into, I don't feel energized, I don't really want to do this, no, I'm fatigued and I just can't do this. And so that is something that at one point I have definitely felt, but my brain went ahead and internalized that to a point at which I believe my brain more than my body. So the funny bit is that last Saturday, so a week ago on Saturday, I felt like I wasn't in the mood for doing the Subnautica game stream and hang out with my friends and, you know, people and have a chat. So I decided to cancel it, and that was really good. It felt good to do that, and felt good to just, you know, hang on the couch and watch House all day. It's a very interesting series, I must say. So but this Saturday I felt exactly the same. I felt like I didn't really want to do it, and I felt like I didn't have the energy, and this is what my brain was telling me. But I decided to not believe in that, and I decided to say, well, let me just do it anyway, and almost like a little experiment to see, well, what is it really like? Am I too fatigued to even speak? Will I be disoriented? Will I be not able to make contact? What is reality here? Let's try it out before we believe something that the brain says this is reality. And to my surprise, it was a very good stream, and I had way more energy than I thought I was going to have. And that's an interesting observation. I thought I wanted to share this with you. So on one hand, my mind was clearly saying, "Oh, actually, you need some rest, man. I can't. You can't do this." And at the same time, I could very much do that. And in fact, it had the opposite effect on me. It gave me energy in return. So that was very interesting to experience, because it's one of those things that translates into other aspects of our lives, in that we sometimes believe the brain more than anything else, and that in return then creates a reality for us that is reflected in observation. I think that's where it's important for us to, every once in a while, check in with what do we believe is reality and what is actually reality. So yeah, reality check is probably a good title for this video. So yes, I remember that happened to me. I'm talking about this in my book, Broken Bowels, Tales of a Super Survivor. I'm talking about it there in that moment when when my body tells me, hey, you're too weak to do this, that and the other, and I believed it, and in the end, I went and did it anyway, not believing my body, not believing my mind, and it turns out reality was something completely different than what my brain told me it was going to be. The park is open. Could have gone through the park. I totally forget about these things. Hasn't quite grown on me just yet. So yes, that's literally exactly that, and I'm calling that the bullshit brain, because that really just can sour your day. That bullshit brain that tells you one thing and you believe in it because, hey, it's the same thing that tells you when you're hungry, when you're thirsty, when you want to have fun, when you want to sleep, when you want to do anything. It's the same brain that sometimes comes up with these constructs that are just incorrect. Thoughts are just incorrect sometimes, and it's good to remember that. It's not everything you believe to be real is actually real. So you can totally put that at total abstractum if you want, and believe that we're in fact living in some kind of virtual reality or whatnot. Careful with that, I say. But also important to not always believe your thoughts. That is my tip for you, and that is also the observation I wanted to share with you today. Yes, so read my book. That is, I forgot which chapter it's in, but I'm calling that the bullshit brain, and I'm talking more about that there if you're interested in that subject. So to bring it back to the point then, I was very surprised to experience that again with my stream on Saturday, which went really well, had lots of fun. It gave me energy instead of sucking it out of me, so that's good to observe. So this morning then, I put the thing to the test once again and thought, hey, that's interesting. Let me just see when I tell myself I'm not in the mood to do 3D tutorials and I don't want to do it, I can't do it, and I feel too weak for that. Maybe I'll just go and make one and see what it feels like. And surprise, surprise, it was very possible. I'm on the telly here, man. It was very possible for me to create one. I've made the one about the IK chains. I don't know why I keep saying IK chains instead of IK chains. I really don't know. The thing is, I made it. I woke up and I thought, hey, let me just try this out and see how that translates into 3D tutorials. And I think it went well. I think I'd explained everything I wanted to explain, and I edited it as well. I had fun doing it, and in fact, it gave me that feeling of, hey, I'm back on a roll. I'm beginning to get back on the roll. So that's very important for me to do that. Once you drop something, the longer you leave it, the harder it is to pick it up again. And I am very much aware of it, and I wanted to make sure it doesn't quite happen. And so yes, that was interesting for me to observe too, that wasn't actually that big an issue. So I suppose that so many things came together there. The bike got stolen, can't make bike videos anymore. Had a bit of a downer on 3D videos, so I stopped that for a while. And then you get into this vicious circle of believing in a reality that isn't quite real. It's just a matter of then literally doing it again and not overthinking it. I think that's my point. This overthinking is sometimes really getting in the way. And maybe I should do this, maybe I buy some more equipment, maybe I write a script, and maybe I need to rehearse this a bit more, maybe I need to do, and then it becomes such a big unclimbable mountain that you think, hey, that's now too big a thing for me to do, so I'm not doing it because it's too difficult for me. Yet when you stop thinking and just do it, you may find it's actually much easier to do than you think it is. There's that word again, it's thinking, and that's sometimes really difficult. And I have a friend who is very much not a doer, so he's very much a thinker, and he depresses himself sometimes just by thinking about things and how terrible they are. And you go, yeah, that's exactly my point. If you keep thinking along lines that are at the core not actually reality based, then we have a problem, because then you keep believing in unreal thoughts that make you feel depressed and sad, and you know how things don't progress in a way that you want them to do that. So it's the opposite of that is of course also true. If you keep believing in positive things, the more positive you'll feel about it. But this is, you know, that's kind of the thinking process. My thing, and what I'm really good at, is what I sometimes forget about myself, is that I'm a doer. I'm really not much of a thinker. So often I just do things, and sometimes they're rubbish, sometimes they're actually really good. And had I thought about these things going in, they probably wouldn't have come out, because I would have overthought things, and as a result nothing would have ever gotten done. So by me just keeping doing things, they're not always perfect. Actually, they never are perfect. Like this sprinkler that makes my legs wet every time I come by the new open Trader Joe's here, by the way, a new supermarket. It's the competition, as they call it, in my supermarket. I think Instacart is still working for them, so it's not my competition. I don't really mind, but the guys who run the supermarket, they kind of, they're a little bit upset by the trader who's moved into the neighborhood. So yes, it's just an aside there, an aside to the aside. So yes, that's my point. That's what I wanted to share with you today. This observation that my brain had painted a picture that wasn't actually true, and when I moved past this and decided I want to do this anyway, it turned out that the opposite was actually true of what my brain told me that reality was. So go reality check. Do that from time to time, and let me know what you think. Let me know how it feels.